Hello, I'm Vince White. I'm an employment attorney, and I'm answering a. We get a lot of viewer questions now, which I kind of love. And some of them, this one's a bit of a softball, but I'm gonna make it difficult for myself because it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be an unpopular answer. Um, so this question is, what is the hardest part about your job as a plaintiff side employment attorney? And so the hardest part is telling people you can't help them, right? If they don't really have a case, or the case is it's too hard to prove, something, or it's kind of iffy. There's a lot of cases where you look at it and you're like, okay, yeah, there could be a claim here, but also you slapped your manager, right? Like, or you probably had a claim, but you told your boss her kids are so fat, it's child abuse that she feeds them so much. Does she hate you because of the discrimination? Maybe, but also she probably hates you because you said that. And that's a choice you made, right? So okay, that's always really hard. But I'll take it a step further here. Um, we get a fair number of calls because we're in the public eye a little bit from super privileged white people, and I get it. I mean, I'm as white as they come. I'm so white, I'm pink. But a lot of times they'll want to litigate now, and this is a fairly new thing in the last 5 years. They'll want to litigate a microaggression, and that's tough. That's kind of tough because in our field, you generally need a negative workplace consequence. Generally speaking, I'm not. It's not an absolute thing. There's situations and there's questions, uh, case law where perhaps it's not entirely required, but you need, a discriminatory animus and a negative workplace consequence. So when somebody calls me up and is like, "Oh, so and so snapped her gum derisively at me," and I think it was a microaggression and discriminatory, um, yeah, my first gut reaction is like, "Well, you sure?" Whoa. But I can't do that because if I do, they'll say mean things about me and leave bad reviews because I wouldn't help them, right? So, while I want to kind of be like, hey, yeah, this doesn't sound real to me. This sounds kind of silly. Maybe you should get out of the private sector and go work in a nonprofit job where people are worried about your feelings a little more. Um, but here's the thing: I can't do that. So I got to spend the time. I got to dig and be like, okay, I'm sorry she snapped her gum at you. You know, how did that make you feel? Yeah, okay. Did you feel like it might have been discriminatory? Oh, really? Yeah. Do you not self-identify as Caucasian? Yeah. Isn't isn't she also Caucasian? Hmm. Okay. Okay. So you think it was something else? What else has she done to you? Oh, that's it. And at this point, obviously, I want to be like, hey, I want to go help some people who need help. Like, what is wrong with you, right? But you can't do it. You got to just write it out and be like, oh boy, I'm so sorry. I just don't know if it's the right choice for you, your career. There's so much to think about here. Boy, would you really want to be embroiled in, litigation and fighting with your company? And not for nothing, it looks like you've had 3 raises and a retention bonus in the last 2 years. It's almost like you're a highly valued member of the team, and they invest in you heavily. And what are we doing? What are we doing, right? Um, yeah, so I mean, listen, are microaggressions real? Yeah. Can a microaggression be a part of a case? Can a microaggression be evidence? Yeah, of course. If there's so many things, so many little things people do to isolate and torment other people, and if you have a serious discrimination case, I am on board with hearing about your microaggressions. And now every other attorney in the world is like, oh, this guy, knock him out, whatever. He's pandering. No, it's real. It's real. Microaggressions are real. They can definitely be evidentiary. They can be valuable. They can show what lives in the hearts and minds of our defendants. They can hurt. They can harm. They can create emotional turmoil. They can create tangible turmoil. They can create physical symptoms of anxiety. I have no doubt of this. However, if you're calling me with just a microaggression and you're clearly a rising star of the company, things are going great for you, the company loves you, everything's wonderful, and not for nothing, you don't really have a protected class, and the person you're complaining about, if you do have a protected class, might be in the same one. Come on. What are we doing? Be a human being, have a conversation. Hey, I don't like it when you snap your gum at me like that. Makes me feel like you think I'm stupid. Well, you might get somewhere, you might not. You might create conflict, I don't know. But it probably makes a lot more sense than suing someone because she snapped her gum. And no, I'm not talking about, this is a hypothetical. I'm not outing someone who called me and was like, oh, snapped her gum, surly, mean. No, I'm not doing that. This is just a hypothetical that I made up because I could not betray anyone's confidences and I had to make up a random one. And that one just sounded really silly to me, so I went with it. So, yeah. That's the hardest part in this job for me. Spending the hours upon hours a week just helping walk people through the fact that maybe, in the absence of like really good evidence of discrimination and a negative workplace consequence, maybe we don't litigate a single microaggression. Maybe it doesn't make sense. Maybe it does. What do I know?